Song 13 is titled Little Girl Picking Mushrooms. And of course, this is a really popular piece in China as well. I think the most popular version that I've heard is played with the guzheng, which is the 21 string, pretty long instrument. It's actually played with picks that are taped to the fingers. And a more simplified version that's similar to this is played with one hand, but there are more high-level complicated versions that are played with both hands. Okay, and the song can be pretty long. This is just the opening passage, but I wanted to cover this with the Dongxiao because this is a really great chance for us to, again, increase that tempo like the last few songs. We're gradually building that up, and also work on our re-articulation of repeating notes. Okay, so as you look through this song notation, you'll see that nothing is bracketed together. So every time you have, for example, in the first measure, you have those repeating sixes. Those are all each individually sounded off, okay? So we're going to want to re-articulate them. And we're going to want to develop that dexterity. So I really hope that by now you're not squeezing the flute anymore. You're getting a little bit softer, a little bit more subtle with your movement, and more comfortable, right? Because that comfortability is going to translate into speed. That speed is going to help us do techniques further down the line, okay? So really, I just want to talk about this re-articulation. Now, when we do re-articulate notes, typically we open and replace the lowest fingering position of that note. Okay, so for example, with 6, typically we would do the lowest, but because we don't use number 2, we don't use this second hole with the ring finger because that's a flat note, we're actually going to lift the middle finger. Okay, but then after that point, once we get to, like, for example, 7 re-articulating, 1 re-articulating would be with the ring finger on 5 here. Then, you know, if we get to re, again, we're doing the index finger, not the middle finger, right? And the 3, we already know 3 is just re-articulating the thumb. So we have kind of a baseline, okay? Now you can lift and replace any finger to get the re-articulation, but you're gonna get a slightly different sound, maybe less stable, a different color, different shape to the note. Okay, so I kind of want to try that out real quick. With 6, for example, we're going to do with the middle finger. As we get higher and we decide to go maybe with the index finger, right? I'll do 2 with the middle, 2 with the index. Not much of a difference between there because that's just a 6 and a 7, right? A la and a xi. So just a half step. You're not getting much of a difference. You can kind of play depending if you're more comfortable lifting the middle, more comfortable lifting the index. For now, I want you to focus on lifting the middle finger because lifting these higher fingers will be a special technique that we'll cover later, and that'll add a little bit of an accent to the note, okay? But if we get any higher than that, for example, playing 6 and doing this left hand opening, right? So the ring finger is okay, you can get away with going 2 notes above. But once you get to either 3 or doing this middle finger, the note just gets unstable, it's jumping too far, and if you're going to use that to re-articulate, you have to be very subtle and very small with the movement, okay? So if it's a straight re-articulation and there's no special notation, we just want to do the lowest note, the lowest fingering position, open and close. And again, you don't have to open as much, I'm kind of exaggerating it so you can hear it, but we just want to have this very subtle lift and close. Not so much that you hear the next note up, just enough so you hear that note reset, okay? So I will play through the whole song. We'll play a little bit slower and just kind of pay attention to those re-articulations, okay? So this is Little Girl Picking Mushrooms at a little bit slower of a tempo, okay? Okay, so pretty simple. Just work on getting those rearticulations, getting them on beat, and keeping it very smooth. As you get smooth with it, it's going to increase in speed naturally. Join the Discord server and get access to more resources, download notation, and play along with a growing community of xiǎo musicians.